The story of human progress is usually told as a straight line, climbing from caves to agriculture, up to modern engineering. But archaeological finds occasionally fracture that timeline. Objects appear thousands of years before the tools to make them supposedly existed. Take this bronze device found in a 1st century Greek shipwreck. It contains over 30 precision-cut gears. It is essentially an analog computer used to track celestial bodies, a level of engineering that wouldn't reappear for 1,400 years. Or consider this 16th century map. Its southern edge depicts the coastline of Antarctica with surprising accuracy, showing river systems that have been buried under a kilometer of ice for millennia. Then there is Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. These massive T-shaped pillars were carved with intricate animal reliefs 12,000 years ago, long before we supposedly developed agriculture or settled villages. When these anomalies are viewed together, the linear story looks incomplete. It suggests the possibility that history moves in cycles, as if we are riding a wheel rather than a one-way path. Ancient cosmologies, like the Hindu yugas, take this further, asking if we are merely the latest in a repeating cycle of rising and falling civilizations. Ignoring these artifacts preserves a comfortable narrative, but accepting them suggests that advanced civilizations could have flourished here and vanished long before our own records began. The immediate pushback to this idea is the lack of physical ruins. If a highly advanced civilization came before us, where are their cities? The Silurian hypothesis highlights how quickly our footprint vanishes. Steel and glass corrode, and within an accelerated geological timeframe, nature reclaims and dissolves modern materials. Eventually, a global city becomes a thin, microscopic layer of chemical traces buried in rock sediment, and the reset button can be sudden. At the end of the last ice age, sea levels rose more than 400 feet, plunging ancient coastlines and their population hubs underwater. The lack of obvious ruins isn't proof of a primitive past. It is a measure of the planet's capacity to wipe the slate clean. While glass and metal dissolve into the earth, two things endure after a cataclysm: impossibly heavy stone and stories. Massive stone blocks like these at Giza survive because they are too heavy to erode or recycle. The precision of their fit suggests engineering techniques we still struggle to replicate without heavy machinery. At Pumapunku, we see hard andesite rock shaped with crisp right angles and interlocking grooves, features that resemble complex machine parts scattered across the Andean plateau. These ruins are often mirrored by myths. Carvings like Quetzalcoatl represent the culture bringers, figures who supposedly taught survivors the foundations of math and agriculture after a global flood. As the dust settled, later, simpler cultures adopted these stones. They built their own homes in the shadows of ruins they couldn't move, wrapping their own local mythology around the silent architecture. These megaliths and global myths function as durable time capsules. They preserve the high watermarks of previous cycles, waiting for a future civilization to rediscover the knowledge built into their alignments. Our current civilization is an outlier for its speed. We vaulted from steam power to space travel in roughly 200 years, a tiny fraction of the human story. But this height is fragile. Our knowledge depends entirely on electricity. If the global power grid failed, we would lose the digital infrastructure that holds our entire society together. Complex societies can entirely forget their own history in a matter of generations, losing centuries of knowledge as quickly as waking from a dream. The Bronze Age collapse proves how fast a sophisticated world can vanish. When the trade networks snapped, literacy and writing disappeared for centuries, leaving only ruined walls and legends of a lost heroic age. Because our modern knowledge is so hyper-specialized, we lack the general resilience to rebuild from zero if the system breaks. The ruins of the past serve as a warning. They ask if we are building a world that can survive the next turn of the wheel, or if we are simply preparing the ground for the next set of myths.